Let's continue setting up our newsletter by looking at the web section of the settings. Now, under the web section, we can see that we have some checkboxes here to make our newsletter look just how we want it to. So we have an option to include the latest issue on the site homepage, show the latest issue menu option, show search option, show an archives option, and show a sponsorship menu option. So to give you an idea of what this looks like for a pretty established newsletter, let's look at one called iOS Dev Weekly that's operating off of Curated. So as you can see up in the menu up here, he has each of those options checked. So here's the latest issue, which can also be found by scrolling down, and it's seen right here. And as you can see, he has that option checked to have each latest issue shown on the homepage. This is just the iOS Dev Curated Newsletter homepage. He has the archives set up as well. So if you click on that, then it shows a nice listing of each newsletter he's ever sent, including the issue number, the title of it, and the date it was sent. The sponsorship section is a really unique feature of Curated. Under sponsorship, you can include a short description about what your newsletter talks about, how many subscribers it has, and what kind of sponsorships you normally carry out. So as iOS Dev Weekly has done, he set this up with just a few paragraphs of why someone should be interested in booking a sponsorship with this newsletter, as well as a button for book a sponsorship, looking at the calendar, and details, which is all found on this page. And these are just quick links to scroll down to whichever one you would like to see. So it's also got a handy date for when the next available date for sponsorship is ready, a nice button for booking now, as well as the price associated with it, and a calendar that comes built in with Curated that shows each day, each week that's available for sponsorship. And of course, this is dependent upon what kind of newsletter you send, whether it be monthly, a few times a week, whatever you set up. If you scroll down a little bit further, you can see that he has even more information on why someone should sponsor his newsletter. And then even at the bottom here, he has some previous sponsors just to further sell the sponsorship page. Back on the web settings section of Curated, we can see some more options. So for a custom HTML title, that comes just as Curated News, but this will be what pops up when users see your newsletter possibly in a search engine. So you can configure that to whatever you want it to read. For domains, the public domain is automatically assigned when you create the name of your publication, but you can change that as long as it's before you send out the first issue. If for some reason you change the name of your publication after a few weeks of sending a newsletter and you would like to change your publication domain, just contact the support for Curated and they'll walk you through how to do that. For the custom domain, this is for if you already own a domain and you would like to link your Curated newsletter to that. So normally, as you've seen before, your newsletter is hosted at newslettername.curated.co. But if you owned another domain, then you can just set it up by entering it in this box and then clicking more information to get that set up. And the same goes for custom domain for short links. Normally the short link that would pop up when you share a link is cur.at, but if you would like that short link to be related to your custom domain, you just enter the custom public domain here and click more information to get that set up. Again, for an example, is iOS Dev Weekly. As you can see, iOS Dev Weekly has their custom public domain as iosdevweekly.com. There's no .curated.co. This is completely their public domain, and they set it up through these web settings.